Hello and welcome to Races Now. First things first, my microphone's playing up straight away. I don't sound very good. SD's reveling in the fact that I don't sound very good, but we have got a special guest with us, Dan Cooper, the clerk of the course at Haydock Racecourse ahead of their big day on Saturday. And spoiler alert, Famous Bridge is running and SD's tipping it. How are you, boys?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Dan, come
Yes, all
on.
good.
How's it? I'm going to ask you the easy question. How's it going to ride Saturday, and what's your forecast?
So we are expecting some rain Friday night into Saturday. The max looks to be up to 6 millimeters. There's a definite western rain band coming through Friday night. So I think that will probably help conditions certainly stay where they are. But you might get potentially good to soft in places appearing back on both tracks. We're slightly better than that on the hurdle course currently. Chase course won't dry out. We're just kind of where we are now, I think. I earlier in the week I thought we might just get to soft on the chase course, certainly having 16 millimeters on Tuesday, but I was amazed and didn't call it that because it just took it so well, and it was the wrong thing to call it that. So I think definitely a good to soft in places, but bear in mind there is rain very close to race time, so that might just take an impact.
But you wouldn't. It's virgin ground, isn't it? So this meeting used to
Yeah.
be 2 days. The chase course hasn't been raced on since Easter Saturday. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. So we are completely 100% fresh ground, which is a big reason why it's taken the rain so well. Whereas if there was a course that had racing on it, obviously divots don't take the rain so well. So yeah, that fresh ground is a big part in where we are as a going report.
Yeah, yeah. And have you irrigated at all? It was a dry summer, wasn't it? So did you irrigate during the summer?
We didn't know. So the last irrigation the jumps course has seen was Swinton Hurdle Week.
Good God! So it's perfect jumping ground. Are you pleased with the Betfair Chase card, Dan?
Yeah, I mean it's a terrific card. You've got to look at the card as an overall, I think, and it is a. I said to my my general manager today, is this a card you'd buy a ticket to? And I think we agreed it was. It was a certainly an exciting card. Lots of really good strong entries. Of course, decks were today, and we would say we'd be happy with it. I think the Stayers Hurdle is interesting. The Graduation Chase is exciting, and of course the Betfair Chase looks to be a good renewal with a few familiar faces.
I think I'm a
And
good
some up and
barometer,
comers.
I think I'm a good barometer because I wouldn't be the
Yeah.
top of the list for a jumps fan, but I'm actually quite looking forward to coming on Saturday. I've not been in a punting capacity for a little while, so yeah, I think it's a more than fair card, more than fair.
Nobody's looking forward to seeing you there being a biohazard. And Dan, obviously, it's a Grade One race course, and you clark this. What is it, 30 times a year? Just tell people who don't know, moan about your multiple inspecting during the winter.
Yeah.
When you get a frost at Haydocks, and hopefully we don't get one on Tommy Whittle Day,
Mm.
it's bloody tough for you, isn't it? Because of those trees.
Yeah, it is. Look, the simplest thing to do is abandon it and say we can't race a couple of days out. We don't want to do that. We want to give it every chance. That's what trainers ask of us. But what trainers do say is if it's not raceable, tell us that as well. We'll then make an informed decision to come to you and leave the yard. So that's exactly what we do. We'll say, good to soft or heavy, frozen in places currently unraceable. We'll look again in an hour and we'll keep pushing that. Now, we obviously don't want to push that until the horrid sort of midday. I completely, I don't want to be there. I've been there in the past. It's not a nice place to be. But we are always striving to deliver racing. On the other hand, we're realistic. So I think Kirkland had good history in the past of saying this won't come out, we're abandoning. I actually haven't had that in my responsibility at Haydock yet. We've had close shaves and always got through it with that sort of 8 o'clock inspection time. I've not yet got to that sort of midday problematic frozen. Believe me, it will come, and we will just be good with comms. That's my only sort of ammo, really. Say when you're not raceable, say what you think will happen, and if you can communicate that good, we're trying our best.
And just on inspections, while we've got you,
Yeah.
the difference what people I don't think realise, a precautionary inspection is you're raceable and an inspection is you're not. Is that right?
That's correct. That's a rule of racing. So we're not making up these rules. That's a BHA regulation that we're asked to do. At any point, if you think you're at risk of staging racing, that you think you will have a problem for any reason, that could be frost or waterlogging generally, you would put a precautionary inspection in if you're currently raceable, but you think you're at risk. On the other hand, if you're unraceable for whatever reason, you then have to go straight into the inspection. They're both inspections. They both take the same formality. The word tells you you're either currently raceable, but you might be at risk, or you're not raceable and you need to have another look.
That's great. That is fantastic. Right. Good luck this weekend, Dan. They're not paying you enough at Haydock because you can't afford your electricity. Really chuffed to see such a great card, and I will see you on Saturday, sir.
I look forward to it very much. Thank you both.
See you there. Thanks for joining us, Dan. Much appreciated.
No worries. Thank you.
Right, well, you're getting it straight from the horse's mouth here at Racers Now. There'll be no other podcast out there that gets the guests like we do. And Dan tells us it's pretty much SD perfect ground for this weekend, yeah?
Well, it is. If you were to pick a play on, what would you want jumping ground to be in November? Good to softed places, or the other way around? I think most people would agree that is perfect. So yeah, well, thanks to Dan for coming on. And we may as well get into it before you die.
Well, there's not usually this much positivity around, to be honest, SD. So we'll get back to
there's loads of positivity tonight because that shit the racing league's over. Hopefully,
yes, that will be covered on there. It's not. It's clinging on. It's clinging on, SD. But it looks.
Yes, it's clinging on like a turd that won't flush.
It looks for all the world that it might be over. Right. Let's start with Haydock then on Saturday, SD. Plenty to go at. There's a couple of anti-posters that you've done earlier in the week as well. We'll flag them as we go. You tipped up Panic Attack last week. That sees you in a nice, decent enough profit on the YouTube tips every Thursday, most Mondays. The race we're starting with on Saturday is the 1:15 handicap hurdle at Haydock, 2 miles, 3 furlongs. What was you thinking? Actually, I've got possibly another spoiler, SD. There's no double dip this week. Anti-post double dip, but no Thursday double dip. Dale
no
Nichols
double dip.
He'll be infuriated. He'll be sat at home, Dale Nichols, fuming that you have not double dipped. Anyway, go on. 1:15 Haydock.
Right. Well, I think I probably backed Florida Dreams most times it's bloody ran, including last time at Carlisle. But I you know what? I eventually just thought that this race was fairly simple from a punting perspective. I think Dan Skelton is a better trainer than Paul Nicholls now. I think Kabral Du Mathan will improve for going to him. I think a £1 rise for coming second in the Scottish Champion hurdle is 9-4, by the way, not 2-1. He's perfectly
you did
fair.
The prices, sir. You did the prices.
I did tell you 9-4. Your ears are clearly flagging as much as your respiratory system, and I think he's an unexposed horse, and he should be winning this, going on to better things. I think he'll win this, and I was looking for reasons.
It's definitely not 9-4.
Is he not?
No.
He's 2-1.
2-1.
Apologies, sorry. Right. There's another one we were putting up later who's 9-4. I do apologise. Clearly your ears aren't working, and yes. Anyway, but I think he'll win. Is what I'm trying to tell you.
Talking of horses that probably should win according to the market, the Jukebox Man, we speculated earlier in the week, will he come to Haydock or Ascot? He's coming to Haydock for their 1:50 graduation race. 5 runners in there, SD, and the Jukebox Man, after a pretty long break, 331 days, is 8-11. Harry Redknapp likely to be in attendance.
Yeah, I mean, who could conceivably beat him? Well, Iroko, the stable are still not running the Greenall stable. There was a stable interview in the weekend of this week where Ollie Greenall said he'll need the run at Haydock. I think it's all roads to the Grand National for this horse. This won't be. This is just a sort of stepping stone to get there. I don't think they're going to either want to blow the mark against the Jukebox Man or
He ran in this race last year, didn't he, Rocco?
Yeah, he nearly won it, but he said
Yeah,
I think in the weekend of this week, he said he's not as far forward as last year. I mean, all things being equal, the Jukebox Man should win. Look, he there was an injury. He has been injured, and sometimes, when they come back, I remember a trainer telling me not that long ago that if a horse gets this type of injury, I'm no vet. They'll come back, but they might not be as good as they were. It's a question mark. Which it just makes the race. It's a bit of a mess for punting in. Napper's Hill last ran in 2023. So again, question marks. I mean, I suppose Butch could go well, but I've never really had Butch down as in this sort of league. So who knows? Who knows? It's quite a conundrum. I'm not having a bet in the race. What I might do in the race, by the way, is I might try and take Iroko on in the without market because he can be pretty short there.
Yeah, like you say, might not be fully tuned up. Iroko is rated £1 higher officially than the Jukebox Man, both after pretty long breaks, but actually carries £3 less. So that is quite interesting. That's due to the Jukebox Man winning a Grade 1 when we last saw him over Christmas on Boxing Day. Right, moving on then to the 225. I think you tipped in this anti-post earlier in the week, SD. They're both still in there.
Just give the viewers a quick run over the prices. Are you tipping one? You are.
Yes.
I don't listen to you on James. I'm just going to get a drink. I've just realised.
Chaotic as usual here on Racers Now. SD put up earlier in the week. Nab Wood. This was at a quarter, 14-1. I think he's a similar price now. Just scrolling down a little bit. Yes. Similar price, maybe slightly bigger. The other one he put up was Phantomofthepoints. Well, SD's just going to get his Phantom of the Pints. Again, that's slightly bigger than what it was on Monday when SD put it up, but he did put it up 4 places a quarter. I am tipping one SD in this, and that is Hartington. He's 13-2. I think that's worthwhile backing him each way. The horse is already in form this season. He won at Chepstow. Joe Tizard, the yard, is absolutely flying there, going at 30%. Sean Bowen, we all know what he's been up to this season, bang amongst the winners. And I just quite liked, with my lack of jumps racing form study, that I like the way that Hartington was campaigned last year, pretty quietly, a horse on the up, avoided some of the big autumn meetings, spring meetings, and I think he's proven his worth. Florida Dreams, who SD likes. He beat him last time at Chepstow.
Florida Dream should have won last time. What happened in that race was Hughes pressed the button far too early.
Yep. Wouldn't be for the first time. Marshantu was bang impressive at Cheltenham, don't get me wrong, at their open meeting. But the weight difference here between Marshantu and Hartington is pretty massive. 10 stone 5 Hartington and 11 stone 7 for Marshantu.
It's a handicap.
It is. Absolutely.
I mean, Emma Lavelles aren't exactly pulling up any trees at the moment. Look, I wouldn't dismiss Hartington. But you say yourself, I thought it was about the right price.
Yep, he might be. Right, on to the big one then, SD. The 3 o'clock Betfair Chase, first Grade 1 of the UK jumps racing season. 5 in there at the moment. Not a lot of Irish interest. Stellar Story is in there. They have their John Durkan Chase on Sunday, which is bonkers, but that's what happens in jumps racing a lot of the time. Grey Dawn in 6-5. He was second in this last year. I think he probably should have won. SD questions whether he stays. We went through most of the runners on Monday, and it'll be no surprise to see who SD's putting up, because you put in a strong word for this one on Monday.
Well, I think Couleurs will. Look, he's got to improve. I think he can do. I think if you were to say to most people, let's put in this another way, what's the best chance of us winning a Gold Cup this year? Well, next year, this season, it would be Haiti Couleurs. I think we would all acknowledge Grey Dawning is not good enough to win a Gold Cup. Grey Dawning should be. He's a pretty solid horse, He's going to run to 168 to 170. So Haiti Couleurs is going to have to come on a stone. It's quite possible. He's very likable. He likes winning. I just like the way he does his business. He's got the man of the moment on board in Sean Bowen. I just thought, there's people saying, rubbish like Grey Dawning was the moral winner last year.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
Was he really? I don't think. I just thought he flagged a bit. Now we've heard off Dan they could get up to 6 mil. That he's saying good to soft in place. It isn't going to be quite as testing as last year. But when a horse fails, I mean, we've got to say, Royal Pagaille won this last year. Didn't show much since, has it? I mean, I can have Royal Pagaille here with stolen money. I could well be proven wrong, but I couldn't have Royal Pagaille with stolen money. So Grey Dawning in this last year, I'm just looking at the rest of the horses who were in the race. Ahoy Seigneur, Limerick Lace just didn't run a race. There was that French thing, Gold Tweet, Brave Man's Game. I mean, apart from and if you take Royal Pagaille out, in terms of form, that race doesn't look a vintage Betfair.
Although I would agree with that. I would agree with what you've said about last year's renewal, SD. This year's renewal might not fit the vintage description either.
But you don't know, do you? So the point is, there are two. 80. What we do know is 80 Couleurs is a fairly solid 155 horse at the moment, and has that sort of progressive trajectory. And Handstands is largely unexposed. For all that, I don't think he'll be winning this. So it's an intriguing race. If you throw in, Stellar Story as well, he wouldn't be completely out of it. The only one I agree with friend of the channel from Monday. I wouldn't back Royal Pagaille.
No, I agree with that. I think Grey Dawning will win. You might poo-poo me price tipping up at 6 to 5, but I don't tip very often on the jumps.
What's the lowest price? Is this the lowest price you've ever put up? I can honestly say on this channel, I have never put a horse up at that price.
Probably.
Pathetic.
Probably. But all we want is winners, SD. And I do think.
No, you don't. That's bollocks. Don't talk rubbish. If you want winners, do you know what? Just tip in bloody 3-runner novice hurdles at Droslas at 25 to 1 on. I mean, that is just
record at Droslas.
Yes, but that is just rubbish. The point of betting is to make profit. Now you might get a bit of an ego boost and a tiny erection every time you bloody back a 6 to 5 winner, but you're not going to get rich from doing it, are you?
No, I'm not claiming to do. But unofficial ratings is £7 clear of everything in this field. Is £12 clear of Haiti Couleurs. Now, Haiti Couleurs is a nice horse. He's on the up, but he's never been in a level weights graded race. He's been in a graded handicap, but he's never been in a proper graded race, if you see what I'm saying there. He may well be on the up, but Grey Dawning has done pretty much everything other than win last year.
He's running a graded race, Haiti Couleurs.
Yeah, a graded handicap.
No, Haiti Couleurs is running a graded race.
Well, definitely not a chase. Definitely not a chase. This is the first time in a proper graded chase. So, he might well be on the up, and he might well turn up in next March and April and be doing damage in big races, but he's got to prove it. He's the same age as Grey Dawning as well. I don't know. I just think people are getting drawn in a bit by Haiti Couleurs. Yeah, he's been winning, but he's been winning handicaps. Good ones at that, but this is a different step up to me. So, I think the rest of, like you say, I wouldn't back Royal Pagaille with stolen. I don't really know enough about handstands, and Stellar Story doesn't win all that often, does he really? Let's have it right.
Well, let's just take handstands. Just if you're putting horses up at 6 to 5, so this is what I say to a lot of people. While you're a fairly easy target, I get that. You don't know a lot about handstands. Handstands is currently the third favourite for this race, and has an official rating of 155. He won the Towton Chase at Droslas. He won the Scilly Isles, a grade 1 at Sandown. What I'm saying is you should know, if you're tipping horses at 6 to 5, precisely what the opposition is.
That's why people get up every morning at 8 o'clock to check out your tips, SD, and not mine. Right,
be Catterick tomorrow. Catterick, what a place. The course with character.
The lucky last at Haydock on Saturday is on ITV as well. And this will be a short one because Famous Bridge is in there and SD is tipping it, obviously. I even got a text today from a regular follower saying, is SD going to tip Famous Bridge today? And the answer live on air is yes.
Yes, of course I am. I think there's a hell of a lot to like about Famous Bridge. Of course, we all collected. Unfortunately, he lost the Grand National trial because of some prohibited substance. But his record at Haydock is very, very good. He won this race a couple of years ago, and they'll want to run him in the Grand National this year. I'm pretty sure of that. They give him a nice spin around air. He's now off the same mark as when he won said Grand National trial back in February. The stable didn't have a winner for Yonks earlier this season, but Nicky's back now. He's 4 from 11 the last 14 days. And I just saw in terms of opposition, because what you've got to look at in handicap is opposition. You've got Duke of Deception in there. Look, I think you can make a case of Confusion, who's on the up for Parkinson and Smith. Whistle Stop Tour ran all right behind Nab Wood over hurdles at Ayr, and Hudson de Grugy. Well, you could say was half interesting. May just bowl along in front at a big price with Sheehan on and Sam England training. That's an interesting stable switch. Of course, Sligo Bay went to Sam England and has won 7 races in 2025. But all that said, I was thinking Famous Bridge would be 5-1 rather than 7.
And we'll be backed accordingly by SD and tipped accordingly as well. 0.75 points each way, slightly more than usual. Right, are we off to Ascot, SD?
Yes, we're off to Ascot. Top marks to Ascot tomorrow. £1 to get in. That goes to charity.
On Friday, that is. Yeah.
It's not the best card, but a Grade 1 racecourse offering that sort of value is to be commended. Speaking of courses who don't offer value, there's been a 19% increase in admission prices. We will at Cartmel, and friend of the channel does want to talk about that at some point. So stay tuned for a monologue from friend of the channel at some point in the next few weeks about that disgraceful price increase at Cartmel. It was £10 back in 1996 and £3.50 on the course. If you take the booking fee into account, it's £37.50 next year to get into Cartmel. An equivalent enclosure on 1,000 Guineas Day at Newmarket, you can buy now for 20. I'll let you surmise where the value is.
I'll let you guess where SD will be on 1,000 Guineas Day. Right. The feature race at Ascot is early in the card at 1:30. This is the 1965 Chase Grade 2, 2 mile 5 furlongs. We touched on this earlier in the week, SD. Most of the ones we expected to have stood their ground. Est Francais, Django Bay, Pic Doré, etc. Master Chewy's in there as well, still a novice, having finished second on. Oh, is it? No, he's not the one novice, is he? Sorry. What's the one in Mr. Coffee? I'm getting them slightly mixed up. Sorry there. Anyway, SD.
You're tipping in this race. That's a good start.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, we're flying. You
want to go, sir? I'll let you go.
Yeah, okay. I think Gidleigh Park's the bet in this. Really nice form when he was second in the manifesto at Aintree. I think he'll take the step up in trip in his stride. I think Est Francais is as likely to bomb out as he is to win. Could win, but could bomb out, as we've seen in that one's profile. Django Bay was behind Gidleigh Park, on his most recent start. We all know about Pic Doré, 10-year-old, loves it around here. But I think Gidleigh Park's the value here. 92, 1 point win for me, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
You go back to the King George, don't you? And look, your natural instinct as a punter is to try and take on a horse like Est Francais. But the fact of the matter is, if he runs like he did in the King George, he'll win this by 15 lengths. I think Ascot 2.5, get him bowling along on half decent ground is exactly what he wants. I don't think for 1 second he's a Cheltenham horse. I think he'll be using this as a prep for a King George. Speaking of George, he's gone to Tom George now. I just thought 9-4 were in a race of this stature was a bit big. Django by I just can't take to the horse.
Wind up.
The Arkle fell into his lap. Your thing actually beat him at Aintree by a short head. There may not be that much between them today. you could make a case. I did make a case for Pick Dory earlier in the week, but I've just sort of looked at it again, and I just wonder if this horse needs a bit of a gap between his races these days. He ran his heart out at Weatherby, but again, you go back to Est Francais. I, I think Est Francais would have won the Charlie Hall. I think we can all accept that on his A game fairly easily, and I think he's by far and away the most likely winner of this.
Somewhat of an enigma of a horse, is he not? Right, 205 then, SD. We've got a big stayers handicap chase here, 3 miles, 5 furlongs. You're going to need to stay to go well in this at 205. Rock My Way, did you tip that up the other week and it didn't run or something, and it's ran since? Tell us the story.
Yes, didn't run. I tipped him up at Cheltenham last weekend, so I think basically he's a very well handicapped horse. You go back to his runs against Haiti Couleurs last year. There's nothing of that sort of opposition in this. You've said it earlier on. The Tizzards are on fire. He's had a nice little prep run around Cheltenham. Been dropped a couple of pounds for the privilege. He's now a pound lower than when second in the National Hunt Chase at Cheltenham. This is only his 5th run for Joe Tizzard, and you would hope there's a little bit more to come. Anthony Charlton and Joe Tizzard, who would you rather have training your horse?
Joe Tizzard for me, SD. Already highlighted him as being a man in form. So yeah, he will do for me. Right,
he'll not be there. He'll not be there. He's in bed, by the way. Don't hassle him.
No, SD, you are incorrect. I have eyes to the back office. Right, 240.
Oh.
Gweenie May Boy for USD. I think you are tipping this one at a whopping price. I know I've given you away there, but we're trying to get under half an hour.
Yeah, but look at the official ratings in this race. They're pretty good in terms of well spread. So Potter's Charms 145, Altabelli's 147, Celtic Dino, who of course won the Welsh Champion Hurdle very well, 144, Winter Fog 148, Katira 145, Gweenie May Boy 148. Should go well. Pills are paying the quarter. More than happy to play at that sort of price. First run for Ollie Murphy. One of these Gweenies actually ran really well earlier in the week. Could just be interesting. I think it'll be trying, put it like that. I thought 50s was way too big.
Massive price there for SD. It goes all the way from 9 to 4 to 50 to 1. Right, last race then to touch on SD was an anti-post selection from you, Kotmask. Most of them have stood their ground in this.
Be careful.
Yes, most of them have stood their ground from Monday in this Hurst Park handicap. You touched on it earlier in the week. Anything else to add? He's a 8 to 1 shot now. You put him up at 14.
Not really. I mean, I think we've got the value. I'm not saying he'll definitely win. I think a re-energized Teddy Blue is a danger to all. But I'm more than happy with the position on Kotmask with that very attractive racing weight. Like I said that.
Yeah, nice. Right. Fortunately for us, out of the kindness of his heart on this Thursday night, Dan is still with us in the background. I just had one question, Dan, before you go. We'll get you off mute. Which horse are you most looking forward to this weekend at the Betfair Chase meeting at Haydock then?
Well, it's funny actually. I look back at Nappers Hill's form because I think I've clerked every last win of Nappers Hill. So I certainly win Canton anyway. So really good. But of course, Royal Guy is exciting as well. I agree with your analysis of the race, the Betfair Chase actually, which is why it's a fascinating race. But to keep away from the Betfair Chase, let's go Nappers Hill.
Yeah, nice one. He's a very disjointed career, somewhat like SD, you could say, in the racing game. He's currently on a high, but has been through many highs and lows so far. Was that fair? No?
Well, Wincanton the other day looked like a nice start to the season. So let's see.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I remember seeing Dan at Exeter one day when I just drove into a certain jockey's car. That was a good day, wasn't it? I think you'd had an inspection as well that day.
Yeah, probably.
But you're
probably.
so much happier in the north. So much happier
Very
in the
happy.
north, aren't you?
Very happy.
Yeah, as you should.
Yes.
Right. What time's the alarm set for tomorrow, Dan?
I'm intending to be, if I'm on the road for 6, I've done well. That's the plan.
Right.
And Saturday, go on. What time are you up and what time are you going to get home? This is going to be good, isn't it?
Alarm's 5:15. That's usually for a cup of tea. We don't tend to walk until 6 a.m. and then I'll be home on I was just thinking about 8 p.m. then, but that was flat racing. We'll be much earlier. We'll probably be home for 5:30, 6 o'clock on
bloody hell.
So Saturday night available now.
Yeah.
Well,
it's an easy one. UFC from Qatar on Saturday night. I'm guessing neither of you.
I'm at a boxing match and out with bookmakers.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Right, thanks for joining us. Perfect. We'll be back on Monday and good luck this weekend. Thank you.
Good luck. Bye-bye.